Well, folks, another day, another sell-off. Um, we got some nitty-gritty to get into today. I hope you got your coffee. Good morning. If you got any Baileys in the cupboard, yeah, I would pour a lot of it in the coffee today because we got some bad stuff we're talking about today. This ain't good. I got my coffee right here and no Baileys in it, but I'm wishing there was right now because this is some depressing stuff we're getting into today. I'm gonna be needing that to get through this here. Well, we got our CPI report, and it missed on everything. All the estimates were off, and not off in a good way, off in a very bad way. Um, Everything higher than expected. We had our year over year coming in at 8.2. That's what you call the headline, which estimates called for 8.1%. Month over month, we had 0.4% on that headline. Estimates called for 0.2% on that, so doubling the estimates on that to the upside. Core month over month, which core is actually much more important to the Fed. The Fed doesn't even really look at CPI though. They keep it in mind. They act like they don't care about it, but I guarantee they're looking at it today. They really look at PCE, but they really care more about core because core is everything minus food and everything minus food and energy, so it's much less volatile because food and energy can go up and down so erratically. That's really what they look at, and that's the ultimate sign of inflation completely broadening out across all things. And that came in at 0.6% instead of 0.4% month over month. Um, and yeah, that's not good. It's not good at all. It's very bad. Let me see if I can find that year over year. All items less food and energy. Yeah, so that was 6.6%. So they were forecasting for 6.2%, I believe, year over year. Just terrible. Just terrible stuff here, guys. And now I have to call back to this chart we have right here where we got our, and now this goes in line perfectly with where we were seeing our little summer rally. We saw this core inflation coming down, and you can see the chart did what it did over here back in August of 2021 where the markets really rallied because everyone was worried about inflation back then. It came down a little bit, and then it went back up. But the market rallied in this little month, 2-3 month period. If anyone remembers October and November last year, it was insane. Everything was just going straight through the roof. Everyone thought, how could anything go bad? But today we see that trend continuing to the upside and is actually the highest it's been in 40 years on the year-over-year core inflation. And the trend where we thought that the trend right here, you see this little dip, we thought, hey, that's it, that's the dip. We saw the peak, now we're seeing the dip, but nope, we're getting a new peak. Um, all of this in spite of what the Fed has been doing for the past year, aggressively, hyper aggressively jacking up the rates to try to stem this inflation, and it's just doing nothing. And they have to be sitting there. I know Powell, he got his paper copy of the New York Times in the mail, and he's just like, what do I have to do to crash this economy? It's just completely miserable. I'll take a look at some of these standout ones that really jumped off the page. So we have our point 0.4 for all items month over month, and you can see why that's bad because look at this. Back in June, we got a big fat 0, and that was crazy. The market went nuts off of that. I remember that day clearly. I made a lot of money on SPY calls. Market went crazy because we saw a point 0.2 in August to September. Or wait, no, that's the wrong one. But no, we just saw like a flattening out. We saw a 0% inflation on all items because gas was dropping so severely. So we got 0%, and then next month came at 0.1%, and that's yeah, it wasn't great. Market didn't like that, but now we got a 0.4%. So we are seeing that trend, like I told you, it dipped, and now it's going back up. Bad. Food up 0.8%. Just every month, food's going up 1%, 0.8%, 0.8%. Just food is just not going anywhere. The cost of food is just going crazy. And I don't have to tell anyone that. If you go to the grocery store regularly, you know that yourself. But all foods, less food and energy, that's the big one. 0.3% back in June, 0.6% back in July to August, and yeah, and here we are. Here we are. Or no, this would be over the month of July. This would be over the month of August, and now this would be over the month of September because these are lagging a month behind. It's just it's bad. Um, but then we have shelter 0.7%, services, less energy services at 0.8%. So that is accelerating. That was at 0.4% over the month of July, 0.6% over the month of August, and now we're at 0.8% over the month of September. Um, so this is just so bad. It's crazy. This is telling us that inflation is not just in gas, in food, and stuff like that. A lot of people going because when the price of gas goes up, obviously the price of everything goes up. But a lot of people were just taking the price of gas and being like, "Oh, see, that's where the inflation is. See, if we manage to lower the price of gas, then inflation will go down with it." And that was kind of what a lot of people were thinking, and a lot of people were hoping because when the Ukraine war started, that made the price of gas skyrocket. So everyone was like, "See, it's this causing inflation. It's the Ukraine war. It's gas prices." As soon as those come down, I'm sure inflation will come down with it. Well, gas has come down. I mean, it came down last month. It's going back up this month. So, God, next CPI report's going to be even worse because gas is going back up, dude. Oh, my God. So it came down quite a lot. I mean, a decent amount. The countrywide average came down probably $1.50 a gallon, but inflation hardly moved down with it. I mean, we saw it back here for the month of July. It came down a pretty good amount, and then August, but now it's going back up. Inflation's going back up with it. So that completely destroys that argument and any hope for that argument that it was just the price of gas. As soon as the price of gas goes down, inflation is going to go down with it. But it's like a cancer, inflation. It started with gas, and now it's spreading to the other organs of the body, which is shelter, which is food, which is any kind of services. I mean, prescription drugs. It's broad based, and this is exactly what the Fed did not want to see. They were praying that this was not going to broaden out, and this is exactly what this is telling us: is that yes, it is broadening out. We even saw airline fares keep going up. It went up a 0.1% or 0.8% over the last month. Motor vehicle insurance up 0.6%. Vehicle repair and maintenance. So these are just all, what does the middle class pay for? They pay for their cars. They pay for fixing their cars. They pay for prescription drugs. They pay for medical care services. Rent of primary residence. Their rent is going up 1% almost every month. And it's so bad because now what are people going to do? They're asking for raises, and companies are giving people these raises, but it's still not on pace with inflation. But it's starting that wage price spiral that I have talked about multiple times, where people ask for raises, they get the raises, they have more money. Companies see that people have more money, they see that they have pricing power, which is the power to raise prices because people can afford the prices. But then what happens? They raise prices, and people are like, shoot, there goes my raise. I need a bigger raise. Here's a raise. Company sees people get raise prices, and spiral, death spiral. It can kill economies. Um, Not good. We finally saw the price of eggs come down. That's pretty dope. Go have yourself an omelet in celebration of that. Price of lettuce up 6.8% over the month. Like, huh? The price of freaking lettuce. The price of apples up 5%. I remember seeing, yeah, potatoes up 3.5%. I mean, the price of potatoes is consecutive. The price of potatoes is up 17.5% over the past year. Canned fruits and vegetables up to almost 20% in the past year. I mean, fats and oils, butter is up 32% year over year. It's crazy. The price of soup is up 20% year over year. It's like, what? Food at employee sites and schools up 91% year over year. Fuel oil still up 58% year over year. Energy in general almost 20% year over year. It's been coming down these past couple months, and that is encouraging. But um, ugh, oh man, this is just, and all of this just in the face of an hyper aggressive Fed, and it is doing nothing. Their rate hikes are doing nothing. And at this point, you can even argue that, hey, maybe the rate hikes are coming. or they're not coming, but the effect on the economy is still it's still down the road. It's still going to happen later on, but you can't really even argue that. But we do have SPY actually coming up. But SPY gapped down like 2%, but it's actually made a crazy climb up. But I fully expect this to just like a complete fake out, and it's getting done by the end of the day or by tomorrow. Um, but yeah, there's really just nothing to say about it. So I mean, if you're looking at this and you're saying, hey, this is then the other thing I gotta talk about, the VIX, the volatility index, did nothing. This is very very bizarre to me. VIX went up from like 33. It went up like a percent. It's like the market goes down 2% and VIX went up a percent, and it's actually down 2.5% today. So we are far from capitulation selling. This is not capitulation. If you're one of the you're one of those contrarians who's like, everyone's selling their stocks now, I'm gonna buy. No, everyone is not selling their stocks. People are still buying. Look at SPY right now. People are still buying stocks. People are still like, there's hope. People are still saying there's hope. So this ain't a good time to buy. This is a good time to save. I would, if you're planning a vacation, what are you doing? This is the time to be saving. There are opportunities everywhere. I mean, we got AMD at 57 bucks. It was at 55 bucks today. Nvidia is below. It was below $110. It just went above it. I mean, if you this is the time to be spending money. The last 2 years, that's when you're going on your big vacations. You're going on this and that. This is where you got hunker down. And if you ever wanted to buy a house, I would be saving every single penny I could to do so, because price of houses are about to nosedive. Mortgage rates are above 7%. This is not the time to be buying things. This is, you save money, and there is life-changing opportunities coming within the next year, or if not by the end of this year. But this is just bizarre what the VIX did. Like, it hardly even moved. How does that happen? Like, what the hell? How does that happen? The market goes down 2%, and VIX, it doesn't even move. It was higher over here. It's just, so we're like nowhere near the panic selling capitulation. This is not the bottom. You have to see VIX elevated above 40 before you can declare a bottom. Um, could be with earnings. It could be, who knows? It could be tomorrow. It could be Monday. We're gonna get one of these Friday or Monday like flash crashes, and there's no telling what event it's gonna be caused by. But um, there's still a lot of hope left in the market. So this is not a, oh, everyone's selling, I'm gonna buy. People are still buying. So I wouldn't be buying here yet. I mean, we still got ways to go. Um, just in general. And now you have to ask yourself, so um, the Fed has been hyper aggressive and has done nothing for inflation, literally nothing. Like, you can't even quantify interest rates doing anything on inflation. It hasn't done anything, and they've jacked them up so aggressively. So, yeah, it's getting a little crazy in the box over there. Um, Now we have to ask ourselves, 100 basis point hike is 100% in play right now. That is 100% an option. I imagine they are considering, because they are being very aggressive, but inflation is just laughing in their face and just being like, we don't care, and consumers are just eating the cost of it. They're just paying more for everything, and they're still buying as much stuff. It's come down a little bit, but they're just eating it. They're just eating that inflation. I mean, inflation is just feeding them poop on a spoon, and they're just eating it, and they're just like, yep, I don't want to have to sell one of my cars. I don't want to have to not have the brand new iPhone. I don't want to drive a 2020 Honda. I want a 2022 4Runner, Toyota 4Runner. I'm paying top cost for everything. People are still just eating the cost of these things, and it's just crazy because there is so much money to be made. It's going to be a life-changing opportunity. This is like a blessing, but yeah, people are just still paying through it. So we still haven't seen consumer demand die. So that's why I think if we get earnings this quarter that are still pretty good and still shows that consumers are still spending a lot, I think it's going to be like, the market's going to be like, no, we don't want to see that. I think the market wants to see bad earnings because it's just all about the Fed. It's 100% about what the Fed does. That's all that matters. I mean, earnings matters. If earnings are horrendous, I think the market will still crash. But it's so much about what the Fed is doing, and If the Fed still sees company earnings are all-time highs, if it still sees consumer spending all-time high amounts of money, then they're just going to keep jacking up rates, and that's ultimately what brings the market down. So got to keep that in mind. But I really don't know what else to say about the CPI report. It's like an absolute worst case scenario. Um, it's just, in these economists, every month they're wrong. They've been wrong for like 3 months in a row. Who are these people? These people at the Dow Jones. I don't understand it. It's crazy. How could they always be wrong on their estimates? They're always wrong. Why wouldn't they estimate that inflation is going to be really bad? And then if it's below expectations, everyone can be like, hooray, it's below expectations. But they constantly have these expectations that are so low, and then it's just not. And it's just crazy. I don't know. These people get paid to do this, and I don't know where they got their degree from. Friggin' DeVry University or whatever. They went to ITT Tech or something for their economist degrees or econ degrees. Yeah, it's crazy. They're wrong every single month. But so yeah, we're looking for 100 basis points, I think, and I think I saw something that's like a 15% chance now, or if not 100 basis points in November, um, then definitely 75 in November, and now I think we're definitely getting 75 in December, and I think the hopes back in August were by December they might not even do a rate hike, or they might just do 25 basis points. So we've gone from, and you could see the market has, you can literally see the story of this. You can see the market back here rallying way up here, thinking, hey, maybe December we don't get a rate hike, and then come over here Jackson Hole, and he's like, oh no, we're doing rate hikes through the end of this year, and then that's where the market started dumping, and now the odds of the 75 basis point in November came like to a peak because we got that terrible CPI report back here. And now we're looking at December, and people are hoping, hey, 25, 50 maybe in December. Now I think it's like a 100% chance we get a, oh my God, look at SPY. SPY's going crazy right now. It's going straight up, man. This is nuts. I cannot believe it. I should have sold my SPY put. This is crazy. Market's just going to fill that 2% gap. So now I think it's like guaranteed we get that rate hike of 75 in December. If not, 100 basis point in November, 75 in December, which is like crazy, super aggressive. But I think the Fed needs to see something break. That's ultimately, I know they're never going to say that, but I think that's ultimately the goal. They're trying to break something, because if they do break something, if something happens, that causes a like crash, an actual like financial crash, then that will ultimately kill inflation. They know that, and they know that they can save anything instantly. They can, if something breaks, if some bank goes bankrupt or they're on the edge of bankruptcy, they can immediately bail them out. They can immediately turn the money printer back on, or not even turn the money printer back on, but drop rates back to zero, and then everyone goes hooray. But up until then, I don't think they're going to pivot at any point. And it just it's crazy that back over here in Monday of Tuesday of last week, that, or not even last, yeah, last week, um that these 2 days that we had mega green, it's crazy to think that the market was like, hey, there's a chance the Fed's gonna pivot, and it's just like, what are you guys looking at? What are you guys smoking? Can I have some? I'll take what they're having. That's craziness. And now we get our inflation report that is like, yeah, they're definitely not pivoting, because it's like the worst case scenario, this inflation report. So yeah, there's someday I'm gonna get on here and make videos that are like happy cheery and like, yeah, buy this stuff, buy that stuff. But now it's just like, I'm not buying anything. I mean, the market is low and there are bargains, but I don't think it's low enough. Apple is still off of its year low of year. It's still like about 8% off of that, or 10%. Or no, not that much, like 7%. But Amazon's still off its low year. I think Google's probably at it right now. Yeah, Microsoft's definitely at it. Damn, look at Microsoft. What the hell, dude? This is craziness. Look at these big green dinguses. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So when you're seeing this dips just still being bought, like, there's just this is not the bottom. This is just not it, because you're not going to see these like crazy terrible news come out and then the market just goes straight up. Like, you're going to see a day where everyone is selling and there was nobody buying, and that's when the market drops like 8%. We get circuit breakers. Micron, wow, wow, damn, Micron's going crazy. That's AMD green now. Wow, that is a wacko recovery. SPY's almost green on the day. This is craziness, dude. Damn, boy. Okay. Well, I might have to look at shorting this because this is like the biggest fake pump I've ever seen. This is nuts. Yeah, market goes straight up on the worst imaginable news. Okay, dude. Um, yeah, that's all I got. It was a pretty long video, but tomorrow we got those bank earnings, and if those come in bad, then we're gonna see more blood, I'd imagine. Market is gonna hit a point where it's so oversold, it's just gonna go straight up for no reason, just like it did Monday and Tuesday of last week. So we could see that potentially. You gotta be careful for that, but as of now, it's like you're risk off. You're not shorting things necessarily, but you're just cash, and you're saving every penny you can because this is gonna be such a glorious opportunity to make like a life-changing amounts of money in the stock market. It's crazy, and you should be saving every dollar you can. Even though you think those dollars are going down in value through inflation, the dollars are actually going up in value if you look at the stock market because you've never been able to buy as much with a dollar in the stock market in as you can right now for like years. I mean, since obviously March of 2020, but like years before that, like this is just crazy. The value that is in the stock market right now. So keep that in mind. Save them dollars. Save them nickels and dimes, baby. Um, cancel the trips. But yeah, take it easy, guys. I'll probably upload a market update after the session closes today.